Hello everyone, I'm Tommy Sotomayor, and this is part 3 of my breakdown of the movie Straight Outta Compton. Now apparently I started off I was going to do 4 parts, but the more I thought about it, there has to be more parts because, well, the breakdown of this movie is important to me because, again, it matters to my childhood. This was my early adult life, my teenage to adult life, and watching this stuff and then hearing a lot of the complaints about this movie made me want to do more things about this movie. And the next thing that I decided to talk about was a colorism issue that came about. Now, this movie, in my opinion, exploits colorism. It also exploited the idea of the Jews, what I told you in the last video, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. But to start off, this movie was already embroiled in a scandal, so to speak, because a lot of women turned in the casting call and they were offended by it. That's not exactly what I'm going to talk about in this video, but it is what I want to get the ball rolling. So what I want to do is read to you guys the casting call that came from the movie. F. Gary Gray, Dr. Dre, and Ice Cube were all behind this casting call. It's not like they didn't know what was in the casting call. They knew exactly what was in the casting call. So let's go ahead and just read it here. Gotta unplug 18 things just to do it. I should have wore my wireless live. My good one's not coming until tomorrow. Or I think tomorrow, something like that. Anyway, I'm reading this and it's from Gawker.com. Gawker.com says Straight Outta Compton casting call is racist as hell. Now, Universal is hard work on the film Straight Outta Compton, an NWA biopic set for release next year. The movie is happening with the cooperation of heavyweights like Ice Cube and Dr. Dre. Here's the casting call for the film, and that went out on that day. It says yesterday, but that was a year ago. The casting call was posted yesterday by Sandy Alisay Casting, an agency that has posted several casting notices for the film. Here it goes. SAG or non-union casting notice for females of all ethnicities from the late 80s shoot on Straight Outta Compton, shoot date to be determined. We're pulling photos for the directors of featured extras. Very important. You must live in Los Angeles area, Orange County. It's fine too. To work on this show. Do not submit if you live out of the area. Nobody is going to be flying into LA to do extra work on this show. And don't tell me you're willing to fly in. SAG or non-union females, please see below for specific breakdown. Do not email in for more than one category. First off, let me just point out, it's unprofessional whoever wrote this. Like seriously, the writing of this is amazingly unprofessional. But let's continue. SAG or non-union females, please see below for specific breakdown and do not email in for more than one category. The A girls. These are the hottest of the hot models. Must have real hair. That's racist. No extensions. Very classy looking. Great bodies. You can be black, white, Asian, Hispanic, Middle Eastern, or mixed race too. Ages 18 to 30. Please email a current color photo, your name, union status, height, weight, age, city in which you live in, and phone number too. And it gives the woman email address. The line should read, A girls. Now, the A girls, which were the top girls, could have been any color, which is what it stated. Could have been any background, any ethnicity. Cool. Here's where the problem comes in. The B girls. B girls. These are fine girls. Long natural hair. Really nice bodies. Small waist. Nice hips. You should be light skinned. Beyonce is a prototype here. Age 18 to 30. Please email a current color photo, your name, union status, height, weight, age, city in which you live, and phone number. B girls. I'll get to it. C girls. These are African American girls. Medium to light skin with a weave. 18 to 30. Please email a current photo of your name. D girls. These are African American girls. Poor, not in good shape. Medium to dark skin tone character types. 18 to 30. You got people stalking me over what I say in videos I make, but I guess nobody with logic will say a word to them, to this casting agency. Now, let me see if I can get the casting, because since they're out to help the black people and people who are destroying people, last I checked, the casting call reached more people than I ever have for this big time movie. So let's see if they go stalk them. I'm going to give out the address of I'm going to give out the company's name and the address. The casting company is called Sandy Alisi Casting, and the email address for the casting call is Sandy, Sande, Alisi, Alessi, casting, Casting, @gmail.com. Now what I'm going to do is also put this on my website so the people who want to stand up for black people will go and stand up to them. Because surely talking about somebody's skin tone is horrible, especially when you say, well, lighter skinned chicks are prettier than darker skinned chicks. So I've heard lighter skinned dudes are more handsome than darker skinned dudes my whole life. It's never bothered me like that. It's not that big of a deal. You deal with who likes you. The problem is when you start name calling the person. It's a personal affront is one thing. For someone to just say, okay, anybody that likes that is stupid. And that kind of becomes a real issue, especially when people are yelling black power. If you're not yelling black power, then it would make sense. Let me go to the colorism issue though. Reading that casting call literally says a lot of things that I point out. That having this weave makes you look not classy, uncouth, and usually follows with ghetto attitudes, ghetto behavior. As a matter of fact, the casting call, which to me was really a horrible casting call, and you know it was some ignorant black person probably wrote this. I don't think a white person would have written that. Because only black people are that ignorant towards their own people. That's what I've learned my whole life. For that woman to, or whoever that was, to write, the dark-skinned people look poor. Maybe that's an affront to us, or then maybe there's some truth in that. Because if you notice, typically the lighter skinned people are mixed, and then even from slavery days, lighter skinned people were more educated because they had an opportunity to be educated, while the darker skinned people were literally the supermen who worked in the field. That's usually a fact. As a matter of fact, you can look at women right now, and the lighter skinned women typically talk with a softer tone than the darker skinned women. It just happens. Now that's messed up to say if you're a dark-skinned woman, which pisses them off, which I made a video talking about light-skinned women look better than dark-skinned women, and it made people mad. And it's like, well, my point behind the video was if somebody has a personal preference, why would you beat them up? Because light-skinned chicks do not get mad when someone says, I only date dark-skinned chicks. They never do. Maybe because they don't hear it enough for it to affect them. But let's move to the movie, past the casting call, to the actual movie. In the movie, there were 3 men who were married in this movie. 3. There were 3 men who had girlfriends who were really sweet girls. Ice Cube, Dr. Dre, and Eazy-E. Each one of their girlfriends had their backs. Each one of their girlfriends looked mixed or really light. And each one of their girlfriends were their wives until this day. Now, I don't know if that bothers black women or not, but I've had a lot of black women make comment towards this, asking why would they cast light-skinned women for all of the men's wives? That's easy. All of the men's wives were light-skinned. Another thing, you don't hear any problems with these dudes' wives. You don't see these dudes' wives trying to get all the attention. You don't see these dudes' wives out there twerking. Many of you didn't even know they were married. That's the sign of a real woman, when you don't know she exists, unless the guy wants you to know. Also, these have been long-standing marriages. What does this say? Is this the colorism you're looking for? Maybe they were trying to toss disparaging remarks and views amongst dark-skinned women. And maybe this was their way of not doing it towards dark-skinned men. Who knows? The fact remains is that there are people upset of the portrayal that they have of light-skinned women versus dark-skinned women. But is this a portrayal, or is this them just saying the truth of what happened in their lives? At this point is where I ask black women, dark-skinned women, to step your game up. Do you understand that this casting call is saying exactly what I've been saying? That the more weave you have in your hair, the more classless you look. Doesn't matter the color. But it also points out another thing I say, which is the darker the chick, usually the more outlandish weave they have. And they actually wrote that in their Ugly Girls script, that they're dark skinned with weave, and that the pretty girls were light skinned without it. Because the mixed girls are usually the ones who don't wear weave. See, dark skinned girls pay to get hair that mixed chicks were raised with, were born with, can grow themselves, which gives mixed chicks an advantage amongst black women. Because they just walk around and you can get into bed with them and smell their actual scalp. That you don't have to worry about something sticking you in your face. That you don't have to worry about buying and spending hundreds of dollars to make someone's hair look like someone else. This casting call is what bothered a lot of people. The actual cast bothered a lot of people. But these are the same people who watched the movie Red Tails and were bothered by the black man being with a white woman. So I ask you, people who watched the movie, do you think that this movie put out a message that light-skinned people are good and dark-skinned people are bad? I don't understand why you don't think it wouldn't. The Cosby Show did it. Hell, almost any show you can think of from back then. The dark-skinned kids from a different world. The dark-skinned kids everywhere. The dark-skinned kids were mean. Even when you look at Urkel, the light-skinned chick that liked Urkel was sweet. Laura was a jackass. In almost every show, the light-skinned person is sweet. The dark-skinned person is an asshole. Remember the movie? Remember the TV show? Living Single. Max was an idiot. Was violent. Was loud. Was threatening. The light-skinned ones were very nice. You can even go to what is the show with the mixed chick, Diana Ross's daughter? Y'all know what I'm talking about. The girl Maya was a jackass and would never work. But the two mixed ones were really sweet. I can keep going down the line. So who do you blame for this? Does this stereotype really exist? Or are they just trying to make dark-skinned girls look bad? Dark-skinned girls, you can answer me. Do you see more nice chicks and sweet, well-spoken chicks that are lighter skinned? If so, why the darker skinned girls playing the role of being mean, fat, out of shape, unruly? Because it even asks for them to be out of shape. I want you guys to think about this, because this was something that was put forth towards the movie. Not only at the inception of the movie, in the beginning during the casting call, but during the movie as they displayed, these black men were able to have more successful relationships with non-black women. Because I'm sorry, mixed chicks are not black, even if they tell you that. They're not black. By definition, they're mixed. Why is it that they're doing a better job? Are these men considered color struck? Ice Cube, Dre, Eazy-E. The three men that were able to successfully move on with their wives and grow an empire, even though one died. The three most successful members of the group were with light-skinned and mixed chicks, or non-black women, whatever you want to call them. The question is why? For the people who had a problem with this, my question to you is, why did you have a problem? Let's give you something to think about. Get ready for part 4 of the movie review. In part 4, I'm going to probably address the violent part, the police brutality of the movie and its closeness to being accurate. And we're also going to do in part 5, we're going to talk about the omissions, the things that were left out of the movie that were really important and why. I'm Tommy Sotomayor. I'm out.